Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to talk about Grewia occidentalis, otherwise known as lavender star flower, and a few reasons why you might want to try growing it as bonsai. I was introduced to Grewia by a member of the Bonsai Society of San Francisco, and then that was a number of years ago, and then subsequently had additional exposure to it from a couple of other members. And I actually don't know that much about the origin of the plant and whatnot, but basically I started growing it when I realized some of the characteristics that it has are very good for bonsai. And so I just thought I'd share that with you guys. So it's sort of almost midway between a bush and a vine in a way, but it has some really nice characteristics. Now, let's start with this little 3-inch here. So these right here are flower buds, and as you can see, this is a pretty compact plant. This has been in this pot for a little bit over a year, and the leaves have been reducing nicely. So the nodes, when you keep it in full sun, can be really short, and that means that it back buds kind of anywhere that you cut it. Unlike something like a maple or something like that, you can get really tight patterns of growth. And even though the leaves can get really big, this being sort of on the larger size, but I've seen them bigger than that under low light conditions. They also can get really small, and this is actually typical of leaves that are grown in full sun and under bonsai conditions. So it has a lot of characteristics that are really great. The flowers being compact, like in growing close in and not just out on the ends of the branches, makes it so that you can actually incorporate the flowers into the composition readily as an actual bonsai. Now, between the back budding and the flowering characteristics, that might even be enough reason to grow this as a bonsai. But it's even better than that in a sense. The flowering period is almost constant from mid-spring or even early spring through late fall. So right now it's the beginning of December here in San Francisco, and these are growing outside in my yard. Now, granted, we've had a lot of kind of warm weather this fall, and so these guys are continuing to grow. These haven't even been in full sun, and they're still kind of pushing out new growth and chugging along. Under colder conditions, the leaves will kind of fall off and the trees will look a little bit sort of a semi-deciduous kind of look to them. The tree could readily be grown indoors during the winter and outdoors during the growing season in colder climates. Now, one of the things that is a little bit more challenging with Grewia is that they don't tend to make a lot of wood really quickly. So if you think about the way that some tree species can bulk up the trunks relatively quickly, Grewia is not one of those species. Even in this gallon can for the last few years, and having let it run for a while, the trunk on this is not even as big as my index finger. You will kind of fight making them into larger kind of trunk trees because the time period in order to create the wood for that is pretty long. But that means that they're well suited, in my opinion, to making little teeny bonsai. Repotting is something that I've tested, and I've been kind of going outside the traditional boundaries of repotting in the sort of nursery operations that we do, because if you only repot during early spring, then you have a heck of a lot of plants to repot all at once. So I actually repotted this from a gallon can like this down into this container in one step, maybe July or August, and then I kept it in the greenhouse after that. And what seems to happen is they'll drop during that repotting, or after the repotting, they'll drop a lot of their leaves, and then they'll just bud out again as if it's like spring with fresh growth. And I have had little bits of dieback, especially on weaker small branches as a result of those repottings, but overall nothing too concerning in terms of the reaction of the plant in general to repotting. If you want to pick up a couple of these, we sell them on Bonsaify.com and we ship them all over the country. If you've grown Grewia in the past, share it with everyone in the comments below. And thanks for watching.